Create file description. Creating part 1 of the story. Path, home, Claude, story, parts, part 1, MD, file, text. Talia watched the stars from her royal chamber. The princess of the Zenithan race sighed as another boring day ended. None of her people understood why she cared about humans. Humans were seen as weak and simple by her kind. But Talia knew better. Her purple skin glowed in the soft light of her room as she played human music in secret. The beats and words of Earth songs made her feel alive in ways Zenithan music never did. She had built a hidden collection of human things behind false walls, books, music pictures, and even some clothes. The Zenithans had found Earth 20 cycles ago. They came expecting to conquer weak beings instead. They found humans who fought back with surprising skill. The war ended in a truce. Neither side won, but both claimed victory. The Zenithans told stories about human weakness, but Talia sensed these stories were lies. A soft sound came from her door, Majesty. Your new helper has arrived, the guard said. Send her in. Talia answered, fixing her royal robes. The door opened and Talia froze. A human stood there, small with pale skin and brown hair. Green eyes looked at the floor as the small woman bowed. I am May. Your Highness, the human said in perfect Zenithan words, I have been sent to serve you. Talia walked around the human, looking at her with wonder. No human had ever been allowed in the royal home before. How did you come to serve here, May? The human kept her eyes down. I worked on a peace ship between our worlds. Your father, the king, thought having a human servant would help Zenithans understand Earth better. Talia smiled to herself. Her father likely wanted a spy to watch humans, but she could use this chance to learn more. For many weeks, May served Talia perfectly. She helped with royal tasks, taught Talia about Earth, and became someone Talia trusted. During quiet times, Talia showed May her hidden human treasures, expecting fear. Instead, May smiled. You have good taste in Earth music. Their friendship grew each day. May taught Talia Earth words and stories. Talia kept May safe from Zenithans who hated humans. The princess learned that May came from a place called Vermont that she had studied alien words since she was young, and that she was braver than any Zenithan believed humans could be. One night during a moon festival, Talia found May looking at the stars. Do you miss Earth? Talia asked. May nodded. The stars look wrong from here. I forget what our night sky looks like sometimes. Our May had said. Our Talia noticed this word with interest. The next day, everything changed. A loud message came through the palace. The king had decided Talia would marry Prince Kovar of the Draconians, a lizard, like race known for fighting skills and hatred of humans. Talia walked back and forth in her room, angry. It's just a war deal, nothing more. May folded clothes nearby, her hands steady, but her voice shaking. The Draconians have destroyed 3 human places. This year, Your Highness. Once you marry, the prince will push for war against Earth. I won't let that happen. Talia promised, but even as she said it, Talia knew she had few choices. Royal marriages were how Zenithans made peace with other worlds. To say no could start a civil war. 3 days before the wedding, May came to Talia's room looking worried. We must talk somewhere safe, she whispered. They went to Talia's private bath where walls stopped listening devices. Am not who you think, May said, her body now stiff and formal. I was sent here by Earth leaders, a spy. Talia felt both hurt and excited. An ambassador, May said. Earth believes war can be stopped. But we need friends. The Zenithan royal family has always been important. We hope to talk through someone close to them. Talia thought about this. Does my father know? May shook her head. Your father sees humans as tools. The Draconians see us as animals. But you, Your Highness, see us as equals. That makes you special. The wedding is coming, Talia said. What do you think I should do? May showed a small device with secret information. The Draconian prince has already agreed to destroy Earth once your marriage gives him power. I can help you escape before the ceremony. Escape. Talia had never thought about leaving her world, her duty, her future. To Earth, May continued. Our scientists have made technology to change your appearance for a while. You could see our world yourself while we work for true peace. Talia looked at the stars outside her window. The idea scared and excited her. What about the wedding? Talia asked. What about war? May moved closer. Your cousin Vela thinks like you about humans. She would make a good replacement bride. With proper training and some genetic changes, she could look like you long enough to delay fighting while making different deals. It was against all rules. It was the only way. 2 nights later, during wedding preparations, Talia followed May through old tunnels under the palace. Their breathing echoed against ancient stone walls. They reached a small ship area where a cargo vessel waited. The pilot, a human woman with dark skin, nodded at May. All clear. Kim said, everything ready. Talia's royal clothes stayed behind, replaced by simple working clothes. Her special royal marks temporarily hidden by special creams. As the small ship left the palace hidden among delivery ships, Talia watched her home world get smaller. They changed ships twice, each time moving further from Zenithan patrols. May stayed with her, explaining Earth customs, preparing her for what she would see. Her calm presence helped with Talia's fears. The first sight of Earth from space took Talia's breath away. Blue oceans, huge land masses, swirling white clouds, a planet full of different life and color. We call it the blue marble, May said, smiling at Talia's wonder. They landed at a hidden place in mountains. Earth gravity felt strange, heavier yet somehow right. Talia wore special eye covers that hid her purple eyes, sunglasses May called them. Her skin had been temporarily changed to look human, though she still stood much taller than most humans. Earth leaders welcomed her with respect. They called her ambassador, though no official title existed between their worlds, for days. Talia saw Earth places, deserts, mountains, oceans, cities, each place more different than her entire home world. She tasted foods with amazing flavors, heard music that moved through her body, saw art that made her cry. May stayed with her, always explaining things, translating strange customs, becoming more than just a guide. As trust grew, so did their connection. Their hands found reasons to touch. Their talks lasted into night. Their shared laughs created something new between their kinds. Create file description. Creating part 2 of the story. Path, home, Claude, story, parts, part, MD. File, text. In a small house by an ocean, Talia finally asked the question that worried her. Will I ever go home? May took her hands. You are third in line to be ruler. Your disappearance has been blamed on draconian tricks. Your cousin rules well while you are gone. The friendship between our worlds grows stronger each day. The choice is yours. Talia looked at Earth's ocean, so different from the silver seas of her home world. 2 moons shined in Earth's sky, a constant reminder of difference. Yet something about this planet felt right. What do humans call it? She asked. When someone finds where they belong. May smiled. Home. They call it finding home. Talia thought about the word, so simple yet deep. News came 3 days later. The Zenithan king had publicly ended the draconian deal, showing proof of their planned attack against humans. Zenithan ships now protected human outposts. Earth leaders celebrated, but Talia knew the clever politics that had happened. My father knew, Talia realized. He planned everything: my interest in humans, your placement in my house, even my disappearance. May nodded slowly. The king plays a long game. Your visit to Earth forced his hand against the Draconians without starting open war. Your return now would make his position stronger. And if I choose not to return, May took her hand. Whatever you choose, you won't face it alone. Talia considered her options. Understanding grew between their kinds because she dared to see humans as equals, because she dared to trust May, because she dared to be more than just her royal title. Under twin moons beside Earth, ocean, Talia made her choice for her people, for humanity, for herself. She would return eventually as a true bridge between worlds, but not today. Today she would see more of Earth with May beside her. Today she would keep learning what it meant to be simply Talia, not just princess, Today, their hands would stay joined, beneath alien stars proving that some secrets were worth keeping even from kings. 6 months passed on Earth. Talia learned to blend with humans despite her height. She wore special contacts to hide her purple eyes. Her skin treatment needed weekly renewal to maintain the human color. She kept her long silver hair, which many humans thought was dyed. Earth Alliance officials gave her a new name, Natalie King. They created papers showing she came from a northern country, explaining her accent and height. May moved with her to a small house near the ocean where they lived quietly. No one must know who you really are. May explained, Earth has enemies who would use you against your father. Talia understood politics well. She knew her presence on Earth remained a dangerous secret. One morning, as sunlight filled their small house, Talia received an urgent message from Earth Alliance headquarters. A Zenithan diplomatic ship had entered Earth orbit requesting direct talks. They ask for you specifically, May said, looking worried. Is it my father? Talia asked. No. Your cousin. Vela. Talia's heart raced. Vela had been pretending to be her for months now, keeping the peace agreement working. Why would she come to Earth? Earth leaders arranged a secure meeting. At a remote mountain facility, the diplomatic ship landed under heavy guard. Vela emerged looking exactly like Talia had before leaving home. Cousin Vela said, formally bowing in Zenithan style. They moved to a private room where Vela dropped the act. Her purple features relaxed from royal stiffness. Your father is dying, Vela said quietly. The royal physicians give him less than 1 cycle. Talia felt the room spin. Her father, the powerful king who ruled 12 systems, dying. She had expected to see him again to explain her choices. The succession falls to you, Vela continued. If you do not return, your brother Zoran will take the throne. He has already promised to end the human peace treaty. Talia's brother had always hated humans, seeing them as beneath Zenithan dignity. His rule would mean certain war. I must return. Talia whispered. Vela nodded sadly. The royal ship waits. But cousin, she added, there is something else you should know. May stood silently in the corner of the room. Her face showed no emotion. But Talia had learned to read human expressions well. She saw fear there. And something else. Resolve your father asked me to give you. This. Vela handed Talia a small crystal disc. A royal message only for the heir. That night in their small house, Talia held the crystal disc in her purple hands. The skin treatment had been removed, showing her true color. Her silver hair hung around her shoulders as she sat on their bed. May packed their few belongings. Earth clothes items Talia had grown to love, small treasures from their time together. You don't need to come, Talia said softly. The royal court will never accept. May continued packing. We both know I have to come. The Earth Alliance needs someone they trust with the new Zenithan ruler. Was true, but Talia knew there was more. They had grown close in ways neither had expected. Their 2 different species finding connection, despite everything that should have kept them apart. When morning came, they boarded the royal ship. Vela greeted them with formal Zenithan bows, but her eyes showed understanding when she saw May at Talia's side. The journey home took 12 Earth days. Talia spent hours watching the stars, remembering how she once looked at them from her royal chamber. She viewed her father's message alone in the ship's communication room. His aged purple face appeared before her daughter. He said, his voice weaker than she remembered. I have always known your heart better than you think. Your interest in humans was no surprise. To me, it is why I arranged for the human May to serve you. Talia gasped. Her father had known all along. The alliance with humans is our future. He continued. But our people fear what they do not understand. You, Talia, will bridge that fear. You have lived among them, you understand them. And unless I miss my guess, you have grown to care for one of them. The message ended with formal royal blessings. Talia sat in silence. The weight of her father's words, his knowledge, his planning settled on her shoulders. He had seen the path ahead long before she had. The royal palace looked unchanged as their ship approached. The silver spires, the crystal domes, the artificial rings that surrounded the planet, all exactly as she had left them. Yet Talia, Was not the same May stood beside her as the ship docked. Their hands briefly touched, a gesture now familiar and comforting. What happens now? May asked. Now. Talia said, we change the future. The royal physicians allowed Talia brief time with her father. His once powerful body lay weakened. His purple skin faded to lavender. His eyes, still sharp, recognized her immediately. You have changed, daughter, he whispered. I have seen their world, father. I have lived among them. They are worthy allies. The king nodded slowly. Did you find answers there? I found many things, Talia said, thinking of May of Earth, of everything she had learned. Some I never knew to look for. My time ends, yours begins. The king's voice grew softer. Make it count, daughter. 3 days later, the royal succession ceremony began. Talia stood before the assembled Zenithan nobles, her purple skin now proudly displayed, her royal markings refreshed with ceremonial paint, silver hair arranged in the traditional style of Zenithan rulers. She looked like the princess, who had left months before, but inside she carried Earth with her. Create file description. Creating Part 3 of the story. Path, Home, Claude Story. Parts, Part 3, MD. File text. The ancient crown of the Zenithans hovered above Talia's head, suspended in a gravity field. As the high priest chanted the ritual words, Talia looked out at the sea of purple faces. Her brother Zoran stood stone-faced in the front row, his ambition for the throne clear in his cold eyes. Beyond him stood the royal council members who had served her father for decades. They watched with careful, neutral expressions, ready to serve whoever wore the crown, and in the far corner, standing with Earth diplomats, was May. Her human face showing pride, though she tried to maintain proper diplomatic calm. Their eyes met briefly across the vast ceremonial hall, a private moment in the most public of settings. Do you accept the burden of rule? The high priest asked in formal ancient Zenithan. I accept, Talia responded, her voice strong and clear. The crown settled on her silver hair, power systems throughout. The palace recognized her biosignature. Across 12 star systems displays announced the new ruler. The first days passed in a blur of ceremony and tradition. Talia had little time for anything but official duties. May remained with the Earth delegation, carefully maintaining proper distance. The royal court whispered about the human ambassadors' unusual access, but none dared question the new queen's decisions. On the 7th night after her coronation, Talia finally found a moment of peace in her royal garden. May joined her there among the glowing plants. You're doing well, Your Majesty, May said. The Earth Alliance is pleased with the renewed trade agreements. Talia smiled at the formality. Alone we can use names. Friend May's professional demeanor softened. The human moved closer, standing beside the much taller Zenithan queen. It's strange seeing you like this. Back in your world. Back in power. Talia touched one of the luminescent flowers, watching it pulse with light. I feel like two people sometimes, the princess who left and the woman who returned. You are both, May said. And more. A sound at the garden entrance interrupted them. Zoran, Talia's brother, stood watching, his eyes narrowed. I did not realize you were entertaining the human ambassador. Sister Talia straightened to her full royal height. Ambassador May and I were discussing the new education exchange program. Zoran walked closer, his movements smooth and controlled like a predator. How fascinating that you spend so much time with humans, sister. The council has noticed. Is there something you wish to say, brother? Talia kept her voice level. Zoran smiled, a cold expression. Your time on Earth changed you. The people wonder how much. Let them wonder. Talia replied. I serve the Empire as father did. Zoran bowed, a gesture perfect in form yet somehow insulting. Of course, sister. He turned and left the garden, his long royal robes sweeping behind him. His dangerous, May whispered when he was gone. All ambitious siblings are dangerous, Talia replied, but Zoran, especially so. The next morning, Talia announced her first major policy change. Humans would be permitted to study at the Royal Zenithan Academy, previously reserved only for the highest-born Zenithans. In return, Xenothan students would attend Earth universities. The council protested, but Talia stood firm. "I have seen Earth education with my own eyes," she told them. "We have much to learn from each other." Privately, some council members expressed support. Chancellor Lorix, the oldest member who had served 3 kings before her, spoke in her defense. "The young queen has vision," he told the others. "I have watched humans closely. They possess qualities we lack. Adaptability, creativity. Our rigid ways have kept us strong, but perhaps now we need new ideas." The education exchange began slowly. 5 human students arrived, carefully selected for both intelligence and diplomatic skill. They lived in special quarters adapted for human needs. Talia made sure May supervised their care. Earth accepted 10 Xenothan students. The reports Talia received showed their struggles with Earth's gravity and customs, but also their growing appreciation for human art, music, and science. Zoran, meanwhile, gathered supporters. Talia's spies reported secret meetings. With conservative nobles, his public statements remained loyal, but carried subtle criticism of the new human policies. Some military commanders seemed particularly receptive to his views. As seasons changed, Talia worked to strengthen her position. She appointed younger, more progressive Xenothans to key posts. She expanded trade with Earth, allowing more human goods into Xenothan markets. Some luxury items became fashionable among younger nobles. Human music styles began to influence Xenothan artists through it all. May remained her closest advisor, officially representing Earth interests, but privately supporting Talia's vision. Their moments together grew precious, brief escapes from royal duties. 1 year after her coronation, Talia faced her first serious crisis. A Xenothan military vessel fired on a human trading ship near a disputed border. 3 humans died before the captain recognized his error. The Earth Alliance demanded justice. Talia knew the incident could destroy everything. She had built warhawks on both sides, called for military response. She summoned the ship captain to the royal court. The great hall fell silent as the captain knelt before her. "Explain your actions," Captain Talia commanded. "Majesty, we received reports of raiders in that sector," the captain said, his voice steady. "We followed standard protocol. Did you identify the vessel before firing?" "No, Majesty. There was a sensor malfunction." The Earth ambassador stepped forward. "Human lives were lost. Your Majesty, the Alliance requires more than excuses." Talia raised her hand for silence. She knew whatever decision she made would have lasting consequences. Too harsh a punishment would anger her military. Too lenient would outrage the humans, Captain. "You will surrender your command," she said. "Your vessel will be given to Earth Alliance control for 1 full cycle as compensation. 3 Xenothan crew members will be sent to Earth to work with the families who lost loved ones to understand the cost of your mistake." The captain bowed his head. Accepting the judgment to the Earth ambassador, she added, "The Xenothan Crown accepts responsibility for this tragedy. We will establish new protocols for ship identification in disputed territories and create a joint patrol system to prevent future incidents." The ambassador nodded slowly. "The Alliance accepts these terms later in private council." Zoran exploded with rage. "You gave a Xenothan warship to humans," he shouted. "You humiliated our military before. Aliens, I prevented war," Talia replied calmly. Zoran leaned across the table, his voice low. "The military supported Father's rule. They supported the crown, but this sister, this they will not forget." Talia met his gaze. "I do not rule to be popular, brother. I rule to be right." Word of the incident spread through the empire. Reactions were mixed. Military families expressed outrage while merchant guilds approved of the peaceful resolution. Many ordinary Xenothans seemed confused, unsure what to think of. Humans. May found Talia in her private chambers that night. The human looked worried. "The Earth Alliance is satisfied with your judgment," she said. "But what about your people?" Talia sighed, looking out at the twin moons of her homeworld. "Change comes slowly. May even on Earth your people resist new ideas." May moved beside her. "Our friendship with Xenothans is still new. Still fragile." Talia turned to face her. "What we build together must be stronger than old fears. My brother believes I weaken our empire by embracing humans, but he is wrong." She took May's hands in her larger purple ones. I have seen Earth, I have lived among humans. I know what we can accomplish together. May looked up at the tall Zenithan queen. I worry about you. The reports say Zoran gained support among military leaders. Let him try. Talia said, her voice hardened with royal authority. I am my father's daughter. I will not be moved from this path. That night as Talia slept, palace sensors detected an unauthorized entry to the royal archives. The intruder escaped with classified documents about Talia's time on Earth, including detailed reports of her relationship with May. Create dying file description. Creating part 4 of the story. Path, home, Claude, story, parts, part 4, MD. File my text. Morning brought urgent news. Royal Security Chief Virax stood before Talia, her face grim. Majesty, there has been a breach. The Earth files have been accessed. Talia felt cold fear. Was anything taken? The security chief nodded. All reports from your time on Earth, including surveillance images of you and the human ambassador Zoran. Talia said immediately, We have no proof, Majesty. Virax replied, carefully, but access codes from the military council were used. Talia paced her chamber. This was dangerous. She had known her time on Earth would eventually become public, but she had hoped to control how and when the Empire was not yet ready to. See how close she had grown to May, how much she had embraced human culture. Summon Ambassador May, she ordered, and alert Chancellor Lorix. We must prepare for what comes. May arrived quickly. Concern clear on her human features, the Earth diplomat had learned to read Zenithan expressions well enough to see Talia's worry. There's been a security breach, Talia explained. The reports of our time on Earth have been stolen. May understood immediately. Zoran, it seems likely. What will he do with them? May asked. Talia moved to her private communication terminal. If I know my brother, he will wait for the perfect moment. Then he will use them to question my loyalty, to claim I have been influenced by humans, corrupted by your ways. May stood tall despite being dwarfed by the Zenithan queen. Then we must act first. Your Majesty, Chancellor. Lorix arrived, his ancient purple face showing deep concern. He had served the royal family for decades, and his loyalty to the crown remained unquestioned. My queen, he bowed. We face a delicate situation. I know, old friend, Talia said. The reports will show I learned human ways, that I lived as one of them, that I formed bonds, that you came to care for them. Lorix added, his eyes moving briefly to May. More specifically, for one of them. Talia did not deny it. What do you advise? Lorix straightened his ceremonial robes. Tell the story yourself, Your Majesty. Before others can twist it, control the narrative, address the Empire. Talia said slowly. The Chancellor nodded. A direct message to all 12 systems. Explain your time on Earth as a diplomatic mission. Emphasize what you learned about human culture and how it benefits our Empire. And my relationship with humans. May asked quietly. With me. Lorix looked at the human diplomat, his expression softening. We cannot hide what exists, Ambassador, but perhaps we can help others understand it. That evening, Talia prepared to address her empire. She wore formal royal regalia but chose to include a small earth pin on her collar. A gift from May. Special transmission equipment had been set up to broadcast to all Zenithan worlds simultaneously. As she waited for the signal to begin, Talia felt oddly calm. The path forward was clear. She would speak truth and let her people decide. Broadcast began. Talia's purple face appeared on millions of screens across 12 systems, people of the Zenithan Empire. She began. My father, King Lorak, believed in understanding those different from ourselves. To further peace with Earth, I undertook a special mission. I lived among humans, learned their ways, experienced their world firsthand. She spoke for nearly an hour, describing Earth, its beauty, its challenges, the strength and creativity of humans. She explained how understanding humans had made her a better ruler, better able to forge lasting peace between their worlds. What I did not expect, she continued, looking directly into the camera, was how this mission would change me, how it would open my eyes to new possibilities, not just between our empires, but between individuals. At that moment, the broadcast signal flickered. New images appeared on screens across the empire. Images of Talia in human disguise walking Earth streets. Images of her and May together, their hands touching their bodies close in ways that suggested deep personal connection. A voice cut in Zoran's voice. "Is this your queen, Xenothan's? One who hides among aliens, who embraces their ways, who forms inappropriate bonds with a human ambassador?" The signal returned to Talia, her face now hard with anger. "Yes, brother," she said, her voice steady. "That is your queen, one who seeks to understand, not fear. One who builds bridges, not walls." The broadcast ended. Talia's final image, a defiant stare directly into the camera, reports came quickly from across the empire. Reactions varied widely. Younger Xenothans particularly, those in the arts and sciences, expressed support. Older military families voiced outrage. Religious leaders called for prayer and reflection. Ordinary citizens seemed confused, uncertain what to think of a queen who had lived as a human. In the royal palace, Talia called an emergency council meeting. Security forces were placed on high alert. Reports suggested Zoran had gone into hiding, likely gathering supporters. For a challenge, Majesty Chancellor Lorik said we should prepare for civil unrest. Some military garrisons have failed to confirm loyalty. May stood with Earth security officers nearby. Her presence at the council meeting had been questioned by some, but Talia insisted. "What is the Earth Alliance's position?" Ambassador Lorik asked. May stepped forward. "The Alliance stands with Queen Talia. We recognize her legitimate rule and reject any attempt to use her diplomatic mission to Earth as grounds for removing her from power." But privately, May asked Talia what Earth should do if fighting broke out. "If Zoran attempts to seize power, will Earth intervene?" she asked. Talia looked out at the palace grounds, where additional guards now patrolled. "Earth must remain neutral in any internal conflict, but you can secure the embassy, protect your people." And May asked quietly, "What about you, Talia?" Touched the human's cheek, briefly. "I am Xenothan Queen. I will face whatever comes." 3 tense days passed. The palace remained secure, but reports came of military units moving without authorization. Some orbital defense platforms stopped responding to royal commands. Zoran released more images of Talia's time on Earth, carefully edited, to suggest she had abandoned Xenothan values. On the 4th day, Chancellor Lorik brought unexpected news. The Royal Academy students. The human exchange students request an audience. Talia received them in the small council chamber. 5 young humans stood nervously before her, their Earth clothes contrasting with the Xenothan architecture. "Your Majesty," a young human woman named Lisa spoke. "We have a proposal." Their idea was simple but powerful. The human students would broadcast their own message describing their experiences with Xenothan culture, what they had learned, what they admired. They would stand with Talia, publicly showing that understanding between species made both stronger, not weaker. "It's not just about you and Ambassador May," Lisa explained. "It's about all of us humans and Xenothans learning from each other." Talia studied the young humans. Their courage impressed her. They risked becoming targets in a political conflict not their own. "You understand the danger?" she asked. Lisa nodded. "We do, but we believe in what you're trying to build here." Their broadcast went out the next day. 5 human students speaking in carefully practiced Xenothan, alongside 5 young Xenothan nobles who had studied on Earth. Together they spoke of friendship, of knowledge, exchanged of barriers overcome. "We are not the same," one Xenothan student said. "We remain proud of our differences, but we are stronger together than apart." The broadcast reached military bases, merchant vessels, outer colonies, images of humans and Xenothans. Working, studying, and creating together, students explaining complex ideas across species boundaries. Moments of cultural exchange, music, art, food. It ended with a simple message in both languages. Peace requires understanding. Understanding requires. Experience reports came throughout the day. Public opinion began to shift. Military units previously wavering renewed oaths to the crown. Civilian protests against human influence dwindled as younger Zenithans organized counter-demonstrations supporting the Queen that evening. As Talia reviewed security reports, May entered her chamber. The human ambassador looked hopeful. "The Earth students' broadcast is having an effect," she said. "The Alliance intelligence suggests support for Zoran is weakening." Talia nodded. "The youngest generation understands what we are trying to build. They see possibilities, not threats." May moved closer. "Is it enough?" Talia touched the earth pin on her collar, a symbol of everything she had learned, everything she hoped to create. None can say, but hope is stronger today than yesterday. Create file description. Creating Part 5 of the story. Path, Home, Claude, Story, Parts, Part 5. MD, File, Text. 3 cycles of the twin moons passed without word from Zoran. Security forces searched, but found no trace of the royal brother. Some believed he had left the system, others that he hid among supporters. Talia maintained increased security, but returned to regular royal duties. The education exchange expanded. More human students arrived. More Zenithan youth traveled to Earth trade agreements. Deepened cultural programs brought human artists to perform in Zenithan cities. The changes came slowly, but steadily. May remained as Earth ambassador. Their official relationship remained proper and diplomatic, but rumors persisted of deeper connection. Private moments away from public view. Shared understanding that transcended species. Then came the Festival of Lights, an ancient Zenithan celebration. Talia invited the human delegation to attend the sacred ceremony in the Temple of Ancestors, the First in Zenithan history. Religious leaders objected, but Talia overruled them. "We honor our past by building our future," she told them. The night of the festival, the great temple glowed with thousands of crystal lamps. The ceiling opened to the stars. As Zenithan priests chanted ancient songs, human guests watched in respectful silence. May stood near Talia, wearing special ceremonial robes designed to honor both cultures. As the high priest raised the sacred flame, Talia felt rather than heard. A disturbance at the temple entrance. Royal guards moved suddenly alert. Communicators buzzed with urgent messages. Then he appeared, Zoran flanked by armed supporters wearing military insignia. He strode down the central aisle of the temple. His royal robes torn, replaced by battle armor. Guards moved to protect Talia, but she raised her hand, stopping them. Violence in the sacred temple was forbidden by ancient law, brother, she said, her voice carrying across the suddenly silent space. "You return at an interesting moment." Zoran stopped before the altar, his eyes cold. "You disgrace our ancestors by bringing aliens to sacred ground. I honor our ancestors by building peace," Talia replied. Zoran laughed, bitter and sharp. "Peace? You speak of peace while surrendering our values, our traditions, our very identity." He turned to address the gathered Zenithans. "Look at your queen, wrapped in human influence, corrupted by alien ways." He pointed at May. "She gives more loyalty to this human than to her own kind." The temple remained silent. Zenithan nobles looked uncomfortable. Human guests stood frozen, uncertain. Religious leaders watched with grave expressions. Talia stepped forward, her full height towering over her brother. "I have walked 2 worlds, Zoran. I have seen beyond our borders, beyond our traditions. I found not weakness but strength, not corruption but wisdom. You found a human lover." Zoran spat the words. Talia did not flinch. "I found understanding between different minds, different hearts, different worlds." She looked around the temple, meeting the eyes of her people. "The Zenithan way has always been to conquer, to dominate. Father knew this path would eventually fail. He sent me to Earth not just to study humans, but to learn new possibilities. And what did you learn?" Sister Talia smiled. "That difference brings strength. That understanding creates peace. That love." She paused, looking at May. "That love transcends boundaries." A murmur ran through the temple. Zoran sensed the mood shifting, drew his. Ceremonial blade guards tensed, but Talia again signaled them to hold. "The ancient laws are clear," Talia said. "Any challenge to the crown must be settled by the challenger, and ruler. Alone Zoran smiled cruelly, raising his blade. Then let us settle this. Sister, you and your human ways against true Zenithan tradition. The sacred circle formed as priests moved ceremonial lamps. Guards and guests stepped back, creating space for the royal duel. May tried to protest, but Chancellor Lorix held her back. Ritual words were spoken. Blade against blade will truth be found. Blood will show the worthy crown. Zoran attacked immediately, his military training evident in every movement. His blade flickered in the temple lights as he pressed forward with aggressive strikes. Talia defended carefully, her movements controlled, deliberate. She had trained since childhood in royal combat but had never faced her brother directly. You fight like a human, Zoran taunted. Defensive, weak. Talia did not respond. She watched. His patterns, his rhythms. The traditional Zenithan fighting style favored direct, powerful attacks, overwhelming force. She had indeed learned something different on Earth. Patience. May had taught her during quiet moments together. Human martial arts, focused on using an opponent's strength against them. Finding balance. Using minimum force for maximum effect. Zoran pressed harder, his attacks growing wilder, more desperate. Each strike met Talia's blade, never finding flesh. The fight continued longer than anyone expected. Zenithans watched with growing respect. Humans held their breath. Then Talia saw her moment. As Zoran lunged, she stepped aside, redirecting his momentum. His balance faltered. A human technique applied with Zenithan strength. Her blade found its mark. Zoran's armor split. His purple blood spilled on ancient stone. The temple fell silent. Zoran knelt, wounded but alive. Talia stood over him, blade ready for the killing stroke. That tradition demanded, do it, Sister Zoran said through gritted teeth. Show them you are still Zenithan enough to follow our ways. Talia looked at her brother, at the gathered nobles, at the human delegation, at May, whose eyes showed both fear and hope. I am queen, she said loudly. I make new traditions. She lowered her blade. I spare my brother's life, not from weakness but from strength. The strength to choose a different path. Gasps echoed through the temple. No ruler had ever spared a challenger. The ancient laws expected blood priests looked to ancient texts. Religious leaders whispered urgently. The high priest finally stepped forward. The challenge is met, he declared. The queen stands. The law is satisfied. Guards took Zoran away, his supporters quickly surrendering without their leader. The festival resumed, but something had changed. The humans no longer stood apart from the ceremony but were welcomed into it. Zenithans explained rituals, shared sacred stories. Later, as the twin moons rose high, Talia found a quiet moment with May in the temple. Garden crystal flowers glowed around them, casting soft light on their faces. You changed tradition today, May said. Talia smiled. One small change. A beginning. Your brother may try again. Perhaps, but he will find fewer supporters now. They have seen something, knew a strength they did not expect. May looked up at the stars visible through the garden dome. So many worlds, so many differences to bridge. Talia followed her gaze. We have time. The work of generations begins with single moments. Will you stay, May? Asked softly. When your assignment ends, when Earth sends a new ambassador. Talia took the human's hands in her larger purple ones. I believe we have created a unique diplomatic situation, one requiring ongoing personal attention. May smiled, understanding. I believe you may be right. Your Majesty, Chancellor Lorix found them there together. The old Zenithan looked tired but satisfied. Majesty, he bowed, formal yet warm. The council awaits your orders regarding Prince Zoran. Tell them we will discuss his fate tomorrow, Talia said. Tonight we finish the festival. The Chancellor nodded. His eyes moved between the Queen and the human ambassador. Something new grows here, he said. His ancient face showed not disapproval but wonder. Something neither fully Zenithan nor fully human, but perhaps better than either alone. He bowed again and departed. Leaving them beneath the stars, years would pass. Challenges would come. Treaties would be written and rewritten. Cultural exchanges would expand and deepen. Zoran would eventually find a place as a diplomatic envoy to distant worlds far from Earth. His perspectives changed by defeat and time. Young Xenothans would study human ways. Young humans would learn Xenothan traditions. But in that moment in the garden, with twin moons above and crystal flowers glowing around them, two beings from different worlds looked at each other and saw not alien features but familiar souls. The king's daughter had indeed kept her human secret, but now that secret had become something else entirely. A beginning, a bridge. A promise. You changed everything, May said. Talia shook her head, silver hair catching the moonlight. No, we changed everything together. Above them stars shined, countless worlds waiting, possibilities beyond imagination. Two different hands remained joined beneath the Xenothan moons, their fingers entwined purple against pale pink, a small gesture, a revolution, a future neither could have imagined alone.